Good morning. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word. I'm Barry Bryson, and we're continuing our study of Luke's Gospel. And we're in Luke chapter 7, and we're going to read verses 18 through 23. John the Baptist sends his disciples to Jesus in order to ask if Jesus is actually the Messiah. What has happened to John, which we know from the Synoptic Gospels, is that he has spoken out against Herod because Herod has married his sister-in-law, who also happens to be his niece, but taken his brother's wife, and this is Herod Antipas, by the way, and and he has spoken out against him, and so Herod has thrown him in prison, the prison in Perea, the prison of Machaerus in Perea, and that's where he is. Uh, Herod is also afraid of John the Baptist and hasn't executed him, but he's there in this prison, and he sends his disciples to Jesus to ask, "Are you the one?" So Luke chapter 7, verse 18. The disciples of John reported to him all these things. And summoning two of his disciples, he sent them to the Lord, saying, "Are you the one who is coming, or do we look for someone else?" And when the men had come to him, they said, "John the Baptist has sent us to you, saying, 'Are you the one who is coming, or do we look for someone else?'" And at that very time he cured many people of diseases and afflictions and evil spirits, and he granted sight to many who were blind. And he answered and said to them, "Go and report what you have seen and heard. The blind receive their sight, the lame walk, the lepers are cleansed, the deaf hear, the dead are raised up, the poor have the gospel preached to them, and blessed is he who keeps stumbling over me." This is such an intriguing passage. So we know that John, we know from all four Gospels that John, when he saw Jesus, recognized him as the Messiah. When Jesus came to be baptized, he said, "No, I need to be baptized by you." John tells us in John's Gospel that he multiple times pointed at Jesus and said, "Behold, the Lamb of God who takes away the sins of the world." John has been celebrating Jesus of Nazareth as the Messiah of God since before he was born, when he was in his mother's womb. How do we know this? Because Luke puts it in his gospel. So, why would he even ask? Where is this question coming from? Well, he's asking this question from prison, and it won't be long before he's going to be beheaded. And maybe he's saying, maybe there's another question. Why am I here? If you're the Messiah, why is the world thus? If you are here, where's the revolution? Could it be that John himself understood that Jesus was the Messiah, but didn't have much greater understanding of what that meant than the male apostles did? I know this, that when Jesus answered him, he didn't say yes. He told the disciples of John to go back and report, and he uses quotes, multiple quotes spliced together from the book of Isaiah, from the prophecy of Isaiah, all from the messianic passages, saying this is what's happening, and blessed is the person who doesn't stumble over me, who doesn't stumble because of me. He said, in other words, I'm fulfilling every prophecy. I'm healing, I'm raising the dead, I'm preaching the good news to the poor, I'm doing exactly what the prophets said I would do. And so, don't be discouraged, don't give up, don't think something that is false because you're still in jail. Blessed is the one who does not stumble over me. I am the person exactly that God intends me to be, that I was sent here to be, although that may not be the person you expected. It's a curious moment in the ministry of Jesus, and it tells us how deeply ingrained maybe some of these false messianic expectations were, even in someone like John the Baptist. Okay, Jesus himself is going to talk about John and interpret John for us, beginning in verse 24. We'll pick up there next time. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word.